So this picture, 27 years ago, I was laid up in a hospital bed, about to lose my arm and my leg. So on August 8th, 1998, I was on my way home from a summer job that I had in a town over. It was a space that I rode my bike to, and I would always go a certain way every day. But on August 8th, 1998, I decided to take a different route home. And in taking that route home, it changed my life forever. I was coming out of it was my high school's parking lot. And I was coming down the street, it was on a hill. And I vaguely remember coming down the hill. And the next thing I know, I'm waking up in the hospital with tubes and all sorts of things hooked up to me. So apparently, I didn't make it all the way across the street, and there was a car that I did not see, and the car did not stop for me. I don't know why he didn't, but while on my bicycle, I was 13 years old, about to turn 14, going into my sophomore year of high school. And this car hit me, and the impact was so great that I flew up in the air 30 feet. I came down on the windshield, smashing the car's windshield, and I rolled over to the side of the car, and my t-shirt got stuck on the car. And you would have thought that the car would have stopped after experiencing that initial impact, but he didn't. The car continued to roll for 60 feet and dragged me on the ground. And while he dragged me, my elbow was rubbed out. My right elbow was rubbed out on the street. And I landed in front of the house of a registered nurse, and she was able to take care of me until the ambulance came to get me. And I did not lose consciousness, but for a second while I was in the ambulance on the way to UMDNJ in Newark, New Jersey. But the list of my injuries was a broken tibia and fibula in my right leg. I had a fractured rib, which punctured my lung. My shoulder was broken in 3 places. My elbow, the bone for my elbow was completely rubbed out on the street, and my arm was basically just hanging on by some skin and tissue. My chest was all scraped up because of being dragged on the ground. Knocked out a couple teeth, broke my nose, and broke this part right here, on my chin. I didn't have too much. I didn't have any head trauma, thank God. But I did have severe nerve damage in my right hand, and I wasn't able to use my right hand for about 3 or 4 months. But this is a story of victory, and every August 8th, I always just share my testimony with everybody, to whoever would want to hear it. That even though I endured all of those injuries, God had a plan for me. And that night, every surgeon that was a specialist in their field was on call that night, and they were able to tend to my injuries. And from that accident, my first 2 surgeries was basically 20 hours worth of surgeries to repair the damage in my leg and to come up with a game plan about how they were going to fix my right arm. And the first prognosis was to remove my right arm and my right leg because there was such damage done to them. But I thank God for out-of-the-box thinkers and for specialists being on call that night, because they were able to come up with a game plan that saved my right arm and my right leg. And they put a metal rod in my right leg, and then they had to put an external fixator on my right arm to give me motion, because had they put a cast on it, it would have got locked in position. But they also removed skin and muscle from my back and did a skin and muscle graft for my elbow. And there was a list of surgeries. I was going into my sophomore year of high school, and I missed the first 4 months of school. And then when I returned, I was still limping, still didn't have full function of my limbs. But it was a journey, and because I had God on my side as well as youth, I was able to basically return back to playing basketball and doing my thing within a year. So I give thanks and praise and honor to God today for just healing my body. There are still days where I feel the remnants of what happened. And there's still some disfiguration in certain areas, like my elbow it looks swollen because of the surgeries. As you can see, I still have scars. I got a gigantic scar on my back. But it was an ordeal that I had to deal with, something that I had to grow through as I went through it. But I'm here today to testify about this picture, and that that incident was not the end of me. And I thank God for his healing power. So people asked me the other day, why do I believe in God? I believe in God because he saved me from this ordeal. He healed me. There are so many people who have been in a similar situation, but they don't walk away from this. They are not here to testify about it, but I am. So I pray that this encourages someone that is going through a storm right now to just trust God through it. This was a dark time in my life. I remember the first time that I saw myself in a mirror after all of my surgeries, and I looked like a monster. I thought I looked like a monster because my face was still swollen. I had all of these sutures in my face. I still had teeth missing. I was just all jacked up. I hadn't had a haircut for so long. And I just wasn't used to seeing myself look like that. And it definitely did a number on my self-confidence and all of those things. But as those of you who've been following me, y'all see, I was able to get the girl of my dreams and have the family of my dreams. So it's like, all that stuff was superficial, but God had a plan and he allowed me to endure it all. So, happy rebirth day to me. And I pray that this blesses somebody. Trust in God because he'll never fail you. He is a healer. He is a miracle worker, and he loves you. God bless. Class dismissed. Peace.